Okay, Georgia, let's have a look at the sketchbook. There's some reordering and some quite a few pieces missing. I'm going to post a link to the all the information about the course, the sort of step-by-step things that we've done. The links off it to the all the checklists that I've online, and following the online PowerPoint will give some indication as to what is still needs to be in the book. But I'll post that immediately after this video, so you'll see it posted in the comments of your sketchbook feedback. So the things we have got are, they're recorded okay. We've got some information here on the assessment criteria, so quite kind of fitting, really. There's a mind map that is available collectively. That's online. I've also got it printed on my desk. Let's move swiftly on. Now we've got some beginnings of print experiments. It would be good to know what they were based on. The intention was that it was based on photographs that you'd taken of food, or drawings and studies of food that you'd made. So we had tracing papers to trace parts of those designs and mix them together. So these, obviously being one of your 3 final pieces for last year, these need to feature a lot more strongly in the book, so that we can see how you've developed the idea from here, and where the idea is and what the idea is and so on. So this is clearly one spot where we need a lot of work. There's given that we've got 3 final pieces now, pretty much, the lino, the printing, and the large drawing, and a self-directed project are the kind of core outcomes. The kind of, if you're going to divide your book up into thirds, or divide your work up into thirds, it would be things to do with print, things to do with the large drawing, and your things to do with your self-directed projects. And additional significant outcomes have been the clay work that we've done and the dissection project. So in total, there's 5 projects that we've done. Three are the kind of core ones that you will be marked on, and the other ones are additional ones. They supplement the other 3, and also maybe lead the way to a further outcome this year. But I would suggest that just to focus on getting the large drawing complete with all the supporting evidence in the book, photographs you've taken and drawing styles you've looked at and so on. Get the print outcome done, which means exploring different ideas, different techniques, different combinations and colours, and different cut linos and so on and so forth, and also the etching plate, which a number of us are doing now. And then the photographs, which are something that probably it would be best to speak to Miss Matthews about how to develop those, and she's aware of this and ready to give you a hand with them. So let's move quickly through the book, though. There's the beginnings. There's a showing of some kind of definite promise with some of the pastels, but we need to make sure this is a finished piece. Things like quite a heavy outline around what is a tomato here. We need to be thinking more about what sorts of tones and shades and different types of red are actually in the tomato, and different types of green extend across here. Also, just what is in here. There's items in here. There's items down here. This was from a photo that I provided for you. Having the photographs of food in the book would be useful, so that you could start using those more to make compositions and to do studies with. But there's some promise here. It just means it has to be developed, it has to be seen through. It's difficult to say that you've explored the use of pastel and really developed a sense of using the pastel from this alone in its current state. So we've got some documentation there of the tracing and so on. Some thoughts to do with developing. In that respect, if there's any doubt as to whether to the amount of developing or what developing means, or um, how far you need to go with your developing, then any of the sketchbooks, we've got about 50 odd of them online on this on the Art Wall website and on the Talis Art and Design website. 50 odd sketchbooks which indicate what you need to sort of pass and at this kind of level, just to really make clear that you will need it more than what we have here. Keith Arnott, one of the homeworks was to do your own version, although there's writing here, is to actually produce your own version in response. Likewise with the Daniel Gordon, there was to produce your own response to it, to at least to draw in detail one of these, and to better still, if you want to actually get a good mark at it, the GCSE is to actually have some kind of response that's more to do with you. A decent bit of drawing here. I think some potential in terms of identifying the tones. You've got some shadows here. You've got some interesting marks, the way you've marked around the shape, and I think there's room for sort of further identifying the kind of little bits of lighter tones and possibly some of the darker, richer tones underneath. A bit difficult to tell from this photograph. These are very promising. Finishing them off would really make this page more where it needs to be at. So I'd suggest sectioning this off and just making sure it's finished, making sure there's detail under here. I mean, seeing it through, which I know you can get things up to a kind of height. I can see, you've got things with a finer brush and more detail. So to leave this as it is, it would be a real shame. And the colours are, done some close looking at the colours and have a sense of overlapping. Also, we need to know who this is. This is a significant artist that we looked at to consider building up layers of different colour with printing. So this relates to the print. Her name's M. Lee. There's links to lots of things online. Google M. Lee, and then so we can know why these are in the book, and to actually get the full marks for these studies that you would be eligible to get if we know why you were looking at the person, who they were, and what you thought about them. So here are some photographs coming in. And then we hit the mind map. And I don't think I've photographed this out of order, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the book is in this order, so we've got to kind of rethink it a bit so that these photographs lead on to the second set of photographs as well that you do. So you're thinking about why you lit them and how you could light them differently and what you'd use them for, how they tie into the print and making a print about food, and so on. You've trimmed them, I think. I'd make sure also that you make a decision about whether they're kind of in a neat grid or whether they're sort of scattered. And I think a little bit of tear and stuff. I think it's important to annotate them and to think about the presentation a little bit more carefully. Also, I gave out a sheet for the titling and the reason why we looked at the photographs and so on. So that's also online, all in the same spot. I'll put the link, as I say, in the comments after this video. This is a thorough mind map. I'd be thinking about how around the edge, I'd be starting to think about how you might visualize some of this thinking that you've done around this thing. And this is the perfect way to do it, by asking what if. What if you made a piece of work about say, rot and mold, or made a piece of work about something being frozen, or made a piece of work about fast food here. You've got a lot of options here, but you're only going to get marked if you explore options. Okay, so M. Lee at last here. This is not M. Lee, so this needs to be near the M. Lee. The polka, you've got a polka study under there, which is rather interesting. There, yeah. So, is there more that you could do? I mean, you've done a nice version of that. What do you think of it? There's some stuff in the evaluation of that. Pop art, very nice version you've done of that. I start to say what it is, why did this person make this particular image in the way that they did? What effect does it have on the image? And of course, the main key point here is, well, what if you did one of your own images like this? How would it affect it? How would you do it? It's a creative problem. And it's a creative problem that if you have a go at, then you'll get good marks for. So, there's opportunities here to move things on. Interesting how you chose this particular thing, and it leads to some photographs. Again, discuss with Miss Matthews this, so we really know that where you're at with stuff, what you want to do with it, that could lead to a third outcome. But yes, speak to Miss Matthews about that one. We've got some interesting things starting to go on here. I think this is an area where you've got some interesting thinking going on, and although sometimes it means you've got to pause and you've got to kind of struggle with it a bit, that sort of struggle is always worth it, because although you reach a dead end, as we all do sometimes, when you get over that or find a way around it, you get into new and exciting territory. And I think that's where this is kind of headed. But again, it's sort of to start. Where does it go next? Where's the sort of development from that? I'd like to see that, and that certainly would get you good marks to follow that through. Okay, so some perspective, we had some shading sheets as well, and it was to start thinking about exploring perspective. Now you've done the perspective here. This is a very kind of unfinished piece, but it's got a lot of potential. I think you've got to make it happen. I think you've got to fill it more. I think you've got to get a photograph of the place. We'll do that as a group at some point soon, and see this one through. Shading as well, nice job of that. Possibly getting the titling. Something about this page needs a bit more doing to it. Maybe there's some way of filling this in, so you could get some more examples, perhaps. All of that is adding to your marks, no question. Okay, so Mark Brandenburg, very dark, very heavy use of 4B. What you're doing here is exploring drawing styles. Do you like this style? What if you did your own piece in this style? How did it affect it? How did it affect the state of mind? This just needs finishing. I mean, you want to see this all the way through. It's the kind of first serious sort of painted colour study we've done. So there's a mixed media element too. So you've got sort of dry traditional media and wet media. You need to finish it. Daniel Gordon, we could do more pictures. We could do your own version of it. It looks kind of thrown together, this page. I'd work it some more. Big, bold attempt at this. I think that's great. You got the opportunity maybe to sort of fine tune it a little bit. Ask questions about why we're looking at him. It's a block print built up in several layers, so you've got something overprinted with a block, just like we did with the liner print, except very fine, because he's able to get very fine lines with the woodcut tool. So this needs a bit of kind of resolving, finishing, but this is terrific. I mean, it's frustrating because this shows what you could do if you applied yourself some more. You could get a GCSE. It's just the gaps, a few gaps in the book, and not having any final outcomes yet when we should be on 3. So I think that's something where you've got to really decide whether you want to get this GCSE or not, because it's going to take quite a lot of work now as the weeks go by, and the problem isn't sorted out, and a bit. That's just that's up to you to deal with. We've got the Brandenburg thing here. It's kind of interesting. You've got 2. I would maybe compare them. We need more drawing styles, though. We looked at Yeah, it's not, it might be coming up. Oh, you're looking at Cindy Sherman. Yeah, you're writing a little bit about her. Why does she do this? What's her other work like? It kind of ties in with a sort of mix of beautiful and kind of disgusting that we looked at with Keith Arnott and his paintings and photographs of things that are kind of rotting in a rubbish tip. So some thoughts around that would be useful. Different drawing styles, yeah, you had a little crack at that. You want to be getting your Georgia Morandi in there to contrast to Giacometti. Bit of Jason Show Green, doodles to make up a picture. Make it a bit larger than that maybe. And interesting colour studies, very interesting. I'd do a few more actually, kind of rain clouds or something. Great. Colour studies in here. Need to be done. Final piece, yeah, where's the final piece? Was it finished? Dissection project, we did a few pages on that. The Queller of Outcomes, we looked at Da Vinci. Abstract work, we did a whole little series of abstract paintings. We got a little bit more of the print, but again, it's kind of moved it on, but just not enough. We just need a more significant outcome. This needs to go somewhere further than it does. It's interesting. It's got potential, but it's just not going far enough. You need to print more. You need to experiment with overlapping prints. You need to have the monoprints in there, the layered prints. We've got liners one on top of the other, and so on. You had a real good go at this, and I would keep going with it because I think all these little shapes here are starting to make sense. But why are we looking at this person? And what's the connection with clay? These are questions you want to be answering and trying to make those connections in order to get the marks. That's your marking criteria again. So I think I'm back to the start. Yeah, back to the start. Okay, Georgia. So, really, I've said I've supplied all the information, and we've had conversations about the book already. So I hope you can find the link underneath this video and take a look at the things we've done, particularly on the online PowerPoint, which you'll see straight away when you click on the comment immediately underneath this video. Because visually you can just see all the things we've done. It's got links to all the photographs, all the PowerPoints, websites, artists, the lot, and it needs to be in your book plus final pieces.